Hey guys, it's still winter time and I've been cooped up in the house too long. It's just driving me crazy. I've been searching eBay for something interesting, and if you're looking at the bench behind me, you already know what it is. This is what's left of the Senton 6S. Now, these are getting more and more rare because Arrma's no longer producing this particular car. They've abandoned this one in favor of this one, which is the Mojave. Now, the Mojave's a longer car, and they kind of favored that one over this one, and this one is got the same dimensions as the 3S, which is up on the shelf right back there. So this is what I picked up from eBay. It wasn't overly expensive, and it's just kind of a parts car. And I can work with that. Everything inside of here you can still get a hold of, which is very cool. This one, it's got the aluminum chassis, and this is the same chassis that's on the Typhon and the Outcast, so you can still get them. This one is well used, so somebody had fun. And it does have the differentials, and everything moves nice and smoothly, front and rear. The shocks are still in good shape. Everything is really smooth on those as well. So that part of it is very promising. When we get this thing apart, we'll find out what's in there, and we'll see what kind of diffs are in there. Also, it did come with the center differential, which oddly enough is right here on this old school motor mount. Now, this is an old motor mount, so you have to, inside the car, you have to loosen these and adjust it, whereas with the new ones, you can adjust it from the top and slide it into place. We're going to go ahead and trade this out. Hopefully, the body mount will still mount to the top of it. We'll find out when we do that. Also, it did come with all of the body mount equipment. It does have plastic chassis braces. It does come with the servo mount, the speed control mount, and it has this curious little thing. Now, this is old school. This is an old school battery tray and a really small radio box. Check that out. Isn't that cool? But we're gonna go ahead and upgrade that to the new stuff too. Now, the idea is this video is the first of 3. And the cool part is, in this one, we're gonna go over what we got with the car. We're gonna go over what we're gonna put in the car. In the second one, we're gonna actually do the build and show you how all that went together. In the third one, this goes out to the track with 2 Mojaves and the Senton 3S, and if I can pull it together, we'll get a slash out there too. And we'll see how this thing stacks up. Now, it's got the same basic footprint as the 3S, but it weighs more and it has more power, so it should be interesting to see how it works. Now, we're gonna run on the oval track and the off-road track and see just exactly how it stacks up. I wish this was something they were still selling. I'm really glad we got one that we get to get up on the shelf and at least play with once in a while. And if you get the chance to grab one, perhaps you should check this out first. Okay, first things first, let's get down on the bench and see what actually came with the car. Okay, like I showed you, we've got our chassis here, and that chassis looks to be in pretty good shape. It does have hot racing bell cranks for the steering. That's really nice. It does have pretty good, pretty smooth control over those differentials. All the drive lines are in it. All the shocks are still in it. The sway bars are in it, but the caps are missing. And I just happen to have some hot racing caps that'll go right on there. So that looks really good. On top of that, we do have the center differential, and this one looks well used. I did order a used hot racing one that I will go ahead and run through and make sure it works properly. The chassis braces are pretty straightforward, and they're just plastic, and I'm not a fan of these plastic ones. They just don't do the job very well. It does have the standard body support here, and I hope this mounts right on top of the new version of this. I hope it does. We won't know till we try. We're going to upgrade this to an aluminum servo mount here, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that one. These are nice because they support the body when they're attached to the chassis, so that'll go on pretty good. And I do happen to have a screw kit that will help with all of that. Also, it has a well-used speed control mount, so I have a brand new one of these, so we'll get rid of that. Of course, I showed you this battery tray is going to go away as well. And the body's in pretty good shape. It is cracked back here, but there's a lot of flex in these things anyway, so that's understandable. The rest of it looks really good inside and out, and from the inside you can see the cracks that I'm talking about, so perhaps we'll reinforce that before we take it out and run it. So the body overall is in pretty good condition, and I did try and find a replacement, and I couldn't find a factory replacement for that, so that's just what we're going to have to run. Okay, first off, we're going to go ahead and use the newer, larger radio box. This one I modified to get the antenna right out of the top. It allows for less waste of antenna coming around this side to here to get up the antenna mount. It comes right off the top, which seems to help with range, but we're going to go ahead and use that one. The battery box, this is the new version, so that should mount down pretty good if we can get that to mount in properly. I have two differentials, and these ones I ordered off of eBay, and they are not new. One of them has been modified and one of them's out of an EXP, so we'll have to have a look at those if we need them. Also, the chassis braces, these are also used, and this is how I'm putting this kit together for the most part. These are used off of eBay as well. Here's the Hot Racing caps that go to hold the sway bars in place. This is the front hinge pin brace from Hot Racing, so that should help that be a little more stable. Here's the new speed control mount that we're going to use. And of course, this is a T-Bone Racing rear bumper set, and that's used as well. Sitting next to that, we have an RPM front bumper, and this I use on a lot of my vehicles anyway. This one isn't brand new either, so that's a good build for the car. I'm not trying to make it look brand new, guys. I'm just trying to put it together and make it look like it should for its age. Here's the new center differential mount, and see how this can slide right here? That makes a huge difference when you're going to adjust your motor and whatnot. You can just loosen these and adjust it. This is new. So that's a new component that we're going to add to the car. This is the Hot Racing center differential that I bought online, and it's used, but I did have a look at it and it's in pretty good condition. So we're going to go ahead and put that in the car. This is a beautiful thing. This is a 7075 aluminum T6 EXB or Extreme Bash chassis from an Outcast, so it'll fit right on the car and it'll make things a lot stronger in that capacity. As far as the electronics go now, we're going to go ahead and use the DX3. I really like this radio. It's got just enough controls on it that makes it really cool to use in the hand. It's comfortable, the controls are good. I've got a 6-channel receiver that we're going to stick in the car. This one has the gyro in it. We're going to use a 35 kilogram servo. This is a cheap one I got off eBay, and we've been testing these things and they work really well. I've already got it stuck in the new mount for it, and it's adjusted so it'll sit flat in the car, so that we should be able to go ahead and mount straight in. Here's your 2050 6S motor, and this is the one that comes in the Mojave, and your 150 amp speed control. The only thing we're still missing here, guys, is the wheels and tires, and they should be in here just about the time we're done with the build. So there you have it. Those are the components that we're going to use. We know what came with the car. We know what we had to add to it. And you know, with the prices I paid for this stuff, buying them off vendors on eBay, and usually I get kind of free shipping and stuff like that, I'll try and add it up and see what we actually wind up in this car at the end. But it does have some pretty cool upgrades. There's a lot of little aluminum bits that we're going to put in there. We've got a Hot Racing center differential, and we'll just see what it cost overall. So that should be pretty cool. Tomorrow morning we're going to get started on the build for this thing, and the cool thing about it is, and I mentioned this before, but these cars are very universal. If you remove this top plate and change it with the one off of the Typhon, this is the same build as the Typhon on the front end. So the same swing arms, the same shocks, I believe. These might be a little longer, but basically this is the same front end as that. Also on the back, it still has the Typhon arms, the Typhon sway bars. All of that stuff is universal between their platforms. Sure, some of the chassis are longer. and the drive lines between them are, but check this out. The battery trays are universal. The servo mounts are universal. The motor mounts on these 6S cars are universal. The mount for the speed control is universal. They go in just about any of the cars. So if you're gonna experiment with these kind of cars, the Arrma ones are really nice because the components will mount right on from one to the other. Of course, there are certain things that won't go together, but there are a lot more that will than ones that won't. So I really enjoy building with these, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, we really appreciate you guys hanging with us on little videos like this. You know, they can't all be the big action videos, and of course it's winter, so things are a little slow outside right now. But this is what we do to stay occupied. You know, the hobby's more than just pulling the trigger and turning the wheel. Half of it is wrenching. If you don't like the wrenching, this hobby might not be for you, but the wrenching is really, in my opinion, very relaxing. You just get to sit and tinker with stuff and make it work as good as you can, and if it works for you, it works. We're not telling you anything is wrong with how you're doing things. This is just our way of attacking a subject or a situation to make it work for us. Hey guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. It's awesome when you do, and we really appreciate the feedback here when you guys do. You know, if you've done something similar to this or you have any advice for us, that's something that would be helpful to us, please leave it in the comments down below and help others along the way. Hey guys, I'm AJ with AJ Jam Studios saying, keep wrenching, guys.